Boom! We are way off time. If you are regular and you're used to being here, I just switched out my lenses. I did have some lighter glasses after all, so that's a lot better. So I feel better. You can see my eyes. Good afternoon, man. We had to do some car stuff. We woke up really early, and we were just a little tired. So we said we'll just do a later stream, and no new news got posted, which is good. So everything is pretty much the same as if it would have been in the morning. So if you're getting in the afternoon, so let's go. Let's get our disclaimer up. We got the drive up. And let's go into the room. Man, I hope your day has been good. I don't know why. Afternoons feel a little good. The energy starts coming when it's the afternoon. And so I'm just like, yeah, it's the afternoon, right? And it's normal. Pretty good. So let's wait on the computer. Yeah, I can see my eyes. That makes me feel a lot better. Yeah, I can see my eyes. Makes me feel a lot better. Live. And then from here. All right. And then set this up. This is. Hopefully, I sound pretty good, guys. Try to make some adjustments, so hopefully we don't hear none of that little noise in the live stream. It was a little noise, so hopefully we don't hear it. Video tools. And we're not dragging out this screen. I'm gonna be switching it up a little bit. All right, disclaimer. The video is presented here for informational purposes only, and therefore, if you are to choose an institution, please do your own research and consult with a specialist at that institution you are interested in. I am not a financial aid specialist, academic advisor, or representing any institution. Speaking on behalf of creator, Henry is only speaking from his experience. Let's go. And then the theme music comes on, and there we go. So, all right. First things first, like I said, Linda McMahon speaks. She has some clips and videos that I think we should discuss, and we're just gonna go from there. And I'm gonna just let her, I'm gonna just let her go, let her cook, cause we got some stuff I seen. Let me see. That's turned all the way up. Let's do like 90-ish. Then let's do probably like 20. Actually, that video. That video could come last. That's second. Okay. So let's go to the other one. She said. We can go to the other one. This one is a minute long. This one's a minute long. Attention. All right. So this one is about. It's about interest rates for student loans and the illegal save plan. And so then I'm gonna play it. Attention student loan borrowers enrolled in the SAVE plan. On August 1st, the Department of Education will resume charging interest on your loans. This change is required by law. When you take out a loan, you must pay it back. The Biden administration attempted loan forgiveness to win points with their voters, but federal courts have repeatedly ruled these actions are unlawful. The truth is, there is no such thing as loan forgiveness. It's just shifting debts from one party to another. The Trump administration will not allow the American taxpayer to take on debts that are not their own. The department stands ready to help you identify a new and legal repayment plan. If you are a borrower enrolled in the illegal SAVE plan,
Please visit studentaid.gov to learn about affordable repayment options.
So, yeah, it can't get no more simpler than that, right? Starting August 1st, if you are enrolled in the legal save plan, interest will occur or come back if you have student loans. And so, what I didn't understand about it was, one thing I don't understand is that how much interest will be on your loans. That's the question I have because if you didn't have interest, I'm assuming that's just my question, right? Like the students who do have student loans taken out, um, I believe federal wise in the save plan, like they said, the legal save plan. So for many who don't know, we talked about it a little bit before, but the legal save plan is the legal save plan is a plan that was formed by the Biden administration. And they said it was unethical. They say it's unethical that what the Biden administration did was that they told students like we will, as we know, that they would clean your student loan debt up, and you won't have to pay back student loans if you take it out, essentially. And that they're saying that that was the reason why they won the election, the Biden administration. And so just put some context on that. So people remember that time when we was like, oh, we're gonna pay off your student loans, and we probably know like everybody probably knows like that one person or those two people that got their student loans paid off, right? And it's honestly the word I'm looking for is crazy to think like people really thought the student loans were gonna be paid off and or thought their student loans were going to be paid off for like future generations. People thought that student loans were going to be paid off, so people pulled out student loans, and they had zero interest on them. Like we talked about it before, but it's really more. It's really just more like interesting now. It's really more like, oh, it happened. Like people was pulling out really, hey, my student loans gonna be paid off. And so, or I don't gotta worry about paying them back. And that's never the case. So when we got a new administration in, they cracked down on it. They actually got two new plans. Only two options. You choose which one, and if you don't, you're gonna be forced to pay back the interest on the illegal save plan. I believe either way, you're going to have interest on your loans. That's what it sounds like. But if you don't enroll into one of their plans with the new Trump administration, if you don't enroll into their plan, you're going to. I really want to know what these interests. They have not specified what the interest could be on these loans that was taken out. So you could be paying a lot of back interest or high interest compared if you don't enroll in the Trump administration repayment plan. So it's on the studentaid.gov, which is part of the United States Department of Education website. It's really important that I really don't talk about loans like that because I believe every student should have to take out loans. If you go to a college that's in your price range, I feel like anybody could go to college. I feel like anybody can go to a school that is affordable. But in these times, which is going to be our next conversation about colleges being on their breaking point, that's like the last one. We just really want to talk about that though, because they put a message out. It starts August 1st, so a lot of students are going to feel the pressure. Like, not even mention students that are currently in school. Like, we always think about the students who are not in school, but you have to think about the people who are in school that's pulling out federal student loans, and we don't think about that at all. We just think about like people who are out of school. There are students who are pulling out loans this summer, get ready for school in August, and then they have to turn around and start paying it back right away. And they just you know, like imagine you were just in the last administration, you had to worry about the loans. Now you're in administration, you have to worry about the loans. So it's something that, what's that word I'm looking for? It's something to keep coming back around, because when August 1st hit, I don't know how it's gonna be. Especially me starting my job coming up in August too. It's gonna be interesting to see how everything is going. See what is going on in the higher education realm, because I was out for a few months after leaving my other job. So it's gonna be interesting to see how everything is playing out in the career field. And then, you know, I could go to conferences. It won't be on my dime. It'll be on their dime. So hopefully I could go to a conference, because that's gonna be our third talk, like our third segment. It's gonna be a lot of cutbacks, like going to conferences, traveling. So conferences probably won't be. I don't know, because if we don't have if the state or that school don't have the money to pay for a conference or put a conference together or go to one, and you know, like I said, I can't go because nobody is advancing research. So we just have to stay put and go based off what the past, and that's not working at all. So just some small words from Linda McMahon, and I'm gonna switch it up for us. What's up, G? I'm gonna switch it up for us too. I'm not gonna be holding y'all hostage for 2 hours. I've been paying attention to my watch time and stuff. So um I'm gonna go as long as the stream allows me to. Meaning, if we hit on everything, well, I've been doing that. Somehow we still almost hit 2 hours last time on the last one. The last one was a good stream too, but I don't really. I feel like I be talking a lot, and sometimes I feel like you're not getting nothing out of it. Because I guess I feel like I'm talking to myself, or I am talking to myself, and it's quiet. And I just be like, are they gaining something from this? I really try my best, and I sit on some of these topics sometimes and I pick them. And that's why I be a little late too. I be like, is this really gonna help somebody? But like I said, I always relate it back to the students, because the students are gonna be going through a lot of, and I'm not the best health professional, but it's gonna be a lot of mental going on. There's gonna be a lot of trying to escape to that virtual reality going on. So yeah, Linda said that, and she spoke on that, saying starting August 1st. Interest for student loans and the legal save plan will begin. And we are so in there right now. And then right here, I saved this one too. I said Linda. So right here, I didn't really get what was coming out of this though. This was posted yesterday. Elite universities take billions in United States taxpayer funding. I'm gonna say it one more time. Elite universities take billions in United States taxpayer funding, and yet fill their classes with, not me, I quote Linda McMahon, I quote, and they said they fill the classes with foreign students. And so she said, well done, Secretary Rubio. I kid you not, I quote that. I feel a little weird saying that, because you know we're the United States. It just feels a little weird reading that out loud. But that's what they're talking about in education. Why is education, if you ask me in an interview, like why is education, Department of Education, focusing on like making, you know, like I get it, it's just so controversial. I'm not gonna speak on it. I'm not. I will have to leave that to the people who want to talk about that, because I don't want to get canceled before I started. So this is another example of the Trump administration ensuring that United States funded institutions put American students and American interests first. Like I said, why did I mention this? Because this came from the Secretary of Education. They're trying to make education very American, especially higher education. They're trying to make it, they're saying they want to make it more American. They're saying that you need to have a visa. It says right here, Secretary Marco Rubio said that a visa sponsorship is a privilege, and sponsors whose conduct tarnishes our nation's interests will lose that privilege. Yeah, G said America first, nationalism, BS. Yeah, man, it's crazy, right? And you would think like, there's so much more about higher education that's going on. And, you know, like, I try my best to not use these stories or talk about these stories because it's a distraction, I feel like. Because students still gonna have to go to school. That's what we talked about in our Go Get It. Like, I advise anybody to go watch that Go Get It segment in the last live stream, the one from July 23rd. Just just go straight to the end because the Go Get It episode is directly for, like, if you got immigrant parents, like, you were born here on U.S. soil, but they're cutting off your resources to get like federal money, like to get, if you are gonna be Pell Grant or if you are gonna have loans, and they're like cutting the resources off from you. It's a way to be like, I feel like it's a good listen because when I just can relate to that, like being from an environment not having resources. I think we all can. At one point, when you don't have resources, it's really hard. You have to take different routes that are just not easy, right? And so I really feel like that Go Get It segment really will spark some, I feel like, some hope. A lot of people are pessimistic right now in these times. A lot of people are being pessimistic about what's going on right now in higher education. A lot of people are um, down, upset. I say don't focus on that. Focus on what you can do for you and your family. That's what I believe in. So the second one is the most famous one. I think we all heard about this. I think we all heard about it. Columbia University took the deal. Columbia University took the deal. There isn't much optimism to be had now, LOL. It's always optimism, G. Please have some optimism. Have some optimistic future. Believe. It's always something we can do. It's always something we can do. It's always something. If there was not another way, the world will be coming to an end. And it's not coming to an end. And so we're going to talk about Columbia University. So Columbia University took a deal, man. Columbia University agrees to pay $221 million, a $221 million fine. Shout out to the school for having $221 million, though. Most schools don't got that type of money. Sure, if you say so. Come on, G. Don't be like that, G. Come on, G. Come on, G. This is the hope here. This channel gonna give some hope. Remember, the kids can start at a 2-year, bridge to a 4-year. They can learn. They gotta just add some skills, and you know, stand up for what you believe in. Go watch the live stream. What is that live stream called? Right quick. It's the live stream when we had I had my bro on, Justin. That was in June. It's like a Spanish Servant Institution. It's that live stream right there. I advise everybody to go watch that live stream. He has hope. You know, he has different views. We have different views. But a view that we agree on is that, like, it's hope. It's definitely hope. As he said, he quoted John Lewis. I'm gonna say that quote. It's a good quote. John Lewis. He said he loved to say this quote right here about John Lewis. Get in good trouble, necessary trouble, and help redeem the soul of America. I quote John Lewis. And, you know, that's some wise words from John Lewis. And then G right here. I got some words from G. G said, I have hope for you, but higher education that remains to be seen. Now, while I'm not necessarily pessimistic, I certainly believe things are fundamentally getting worse. Now, whether they get better is a different story. You flowed that very well, G. You know, out of all the sentences, to add some humor into this, out of all the sentences you wrote, That was the most. You showed your Ivy League education right there. You flowed that very well. And yeah, it is getting worse though. The higher education sector, education, but definitely we focus on higher education. We can't wait to get those K-12 instructors in here, K-12 teachers and professionals, because they definitely, yeah. I want to know what's going on in the K-12 area right now. So I'm gonna play this video of Linda talking about it's from Fox. She posted it on her LinkedIn. He said, "Well, you read it very well, so pat on both our backs." Yeah, I did. Yeah, it's not early morning. In the morning, I try to read in the morning before I start reading like the comments. So sometimes you and Alice Marie and other people comments be coming in, and I'm like, man, I'm not reading fast enough. And I know because my brain is not flowing. I had time to read today, since I did a different time, and had time to power up with a nap. So the brain is working a little like, okay, we up, yeah, And it's about my gym time too, usually, but it's not gym day, but my body thinks we're about to work out. So, Linda McMahon, she said today is a victory. That's because we be trying to keep pace, yeah. She said, Secretary Linda McMahon said today is a victory for Columbia students and faculty. She said, right here, I kid you not, college should be a place for learning and open debate. College should be a place for learning and open debate. Okay. And then G said, we having a conversation with a talker through text. LOL. Exactly. We are having a conversation through text. We are. We do be doing that, though. We be doing that pretty good, though. We do that pretty good, though. I show the patience. You bring the message. We do that pretty good. Trust me. That's pretty good. So I'm gonna play that video. It's how long is it? It should be, it's 2 minutes. So it's gonna play out loud. I'll still be talking through the chat. So let's go. And it's by Fox.
Then her successor, Claire Shipman, because we were talking about the anti-Semitism protest that had happened at Columbia, especially after October 7th. And it was evident. It was covered broadly in mainstream media. You can't have students that are locked into a library on campus with other students pounding on the windows outside, yelling, "Death to Israel, death to Jews," and having incidents on campus that are just unsafe. Students did not feel safe on campus. And both of those presidents, Claire is still there now, recognized that there was a problem. They wanted to make sure that it didn't happen. We were very strong in our condemnation of these anti-Semitism acts that had taken place on campus. The fines were stiff. $200 million is a stiff fine. But I clearly, we're going to see action at Columbia, and I'm really pleased that we were able to come to this agreement, because I think the students there that are on campus now can feel safe. Students and faculty know that they're going to be evaluated on merit. Hiring programs, are being changed. This agreement also encompasses not only Title VI, but Title IX and other incidents to make sure that there's fairness across campus for all students. And I think that this is a monumental victory for conservatives who've wanted to do things on these elite campuses for a long time, because we had such far left-leaning, professors, and we had 27% of the students that are coming in, are from outside of the United States. I think that's one of Harvard's stats. And so Columbia is clearly on board. I'm really pleased with this victory. It wouldn't have happened if Donald Trump were not president, and I'm really pleased to execute his vision for this, that our campuses are now, they're what they should be. They're places for debate. They're places for education. They're not places for left-leaning riots and anti-Semitism. And I'm really pleased with this result.
And so that was Linda. Let me know what you think about that. I had G in here telling, we talked a little bit. It was a 2-minute clip. G said, they only care about safety for students when it fits the narrative. And then G said, I asked G in the chat, Columbia hosts open debates all the time. G said, yeah, at least when I was there. And then G said, Columbia has been a place for a bustling debate for centuries near about. So that's dope to know, like, Columbia does have those open conversations usually. But as we know, Columbia has been protesting frequently on campuses, and it gets deeper about what they did in this deal that Columbia took. So, G, how do you feel since you're a student, alumni? I said student. Since you're an alumni of Columbia, how how you feel about the deal? How do you feel about the deal? And while G typed that, we're gonna say, I'm glad you're here on this one, though. I am glad you're here on this one. Did you see the one above the first line? Yeah, I did see. You said one, Columbia has always literally been. I read that. You said Columbia has literally always been that. They literally tried to. They literally tried to invite her. I don't know if you said her in 1933. Right there, I did get a little mixed up right there. They literally tried to hit her in 1933. And every year they have student groups who invite controversial speakers. That's cool. They bring controversial speakers. Like very private. I never hear about that. Yeah, I thought they censored it. No, they ain't censor it. They ain't censor it. Um Hitler, get it, famous Germany. I don't get it. Uh, wait a minute. What was it? I need to Google that name. I'm gonna Google that name. I think he said. Oh. Yeah. I know you talking about. I know you talking about now. Oh, I was like, hit. I was like, and then when you said, and then I was like, oh, okay. I had a G, G. Hey, I went to Google. I was like, huh? And then I was like, it's one of those. Oh, but you said they did. Columbia tried to invite him. That's crazy. That's wild. That's crazy. That's wild. And so, a part of this 200 million deal that Columbia did, in addition, is a lot more to it. It's not just they took the deal, they get the money. It's not. It's pathetic, the deal, but they said it's a good thing, so that could be over. It cost me every time. Make sure I'm good. We should be good. We good. Yeah, and then they tried to invite his ambassador. Yeah, that's very controversial. Very. And then where my story right here. And so G said the Columbia deal was the Columbia deal, he said it's a pathetic deal, but they said it's a good thing so that it could be over. And a part of this deal, 60 students got, at least they say 60 students, but 60 students are being expelled, if I'm not mistaken. They expelled and suspended students who were involved in a pro-Palestinian, and it's telling me I need to subscribe, of course. Why would y'all put a link in here? But right here it says that when Columbia did this deal, they said earlier this week it suspended about 60 students and expelled a handful more. I about to say I think they did more than 60, and they did. So like over 60 students and more like are gone. Students temporarily suspended, and then the other bunch of them, the more majority, are expelled from Columbia University. They say a handful more who had taken part in a pro-Palestinian demonstration in May that resulted in damage to a campus library. So they got expelled, which is, oh yeah. And then G said, yeah. And G says Columbia has an open history of controversy. And then right here it says, yeah, it was closer to 80, a little over. Oh, wow. That's a good chunk, y'all. That's a good chunk to be, where is it? It gotta be this. No, it should be. Oh, yeah, I closed it. That's a good chunk. And so as we keep going, it says, I want to make sure I missed nothing that was important. Because a lot of this she cleared up, saying it. It's not dark in here, right? No, still. All right, okay. So right here, Columbia gave up a lot, but not everything. It says right here, per Chronicle Higher Education, the deal safeguards our independence, a critical condition for academic excellence and scholarly exploration, said the acting president, Claire Shipman, in a statement which notes that Columbia retains control of faculty hiring, admissions, and curricular decisions. So to bounce off of that real quick with G, to bounce off of that and talk about that, that is really good that a college, of course this is an Ivy, but a college, let's remember this is a schoolhouse college, says that they kept their independence. And I tell you guys, independence is everything when starting. And that's why it's good to come in as, I feel like, yourself a little bit when you're doing something, because the moment you want to be your real self, it's kind of hard to pivot away from that. And so Columbia said they get to retain their independence, which means they get to still bring, like G said, those controversial ideas, those controversial people, to have an open dialogue, because they want to get the perspective of that other person. And I remember that the reason I relate to that a lot, because Columbia is so liberal. And when I say liberal, not liberal as in like politics, liberal as in like this, the major I went to school for, which is organizational leadership, where we study a lot of perspectives and just like human resources. Or when I was at my 2-year college. And then right here, the add on, I don't think did it come into the chat yet? I don't think it came in here yet. Hold on, G. I'm refreshing the page. I don't think you're. It says that's why it's good that they just ended it, the whole ordeal, because Trump had his own plans that have nothing to do with making the school better. Right. And so it is good that they did do that to end it. And that was like, I thought he said something else, but that is it. And so as we keep talking about that, it's good that a school keeps their independence, because I remember at school we were studying, like I mentioned it before, I think on the live stream, but I don't think I stayed on it long. We talked about light leaders and dark leaders. And so when you have, like, when I say, guys, when I talk, I do not come from a place of like I know it all. I'm literally giving you everything I learned in the schoolhouse, my experience, and it's all put together with other things in life. We study dark leaders and light leaders. And so in school, I remember my professor he was asking about, like, because I had to write a paper on, God, Laden. I had to write a paper on Laden because I don't want to get censored either. So I had to write a paper on Laden. And I had to write, not in a positive view, but in a perspective of finding out what was his motivation for what he did, and looking into the brilliance of how he put it together. And a lot of, I would say, I guess, because this before I knew about schools being conservative or liberal, because the way I'm seeing it, it's funny, guys, as a person who just, you go to school, you don't really get caught up in politics. You just go to school. Like, I never looked at a school and said, oh, this school is Republican or this school is Democratic. I never did that. I never did that when going to school. So I don't expect nobody else to do that going forward. I never did that. But it was a conversation of like forward thinking and trying to get an understanding, because if you do a forward thinking and try to understand why they came up with this ideology, perspective of why they feel like this is good for them in their eyes, you can possibly prevent this from happening in the future. And please let's not do conspiracies, because I don't want to get into conspiracy line. But that's what I feel like I took from class when I wrote that paper on Laden. And so it was many other dark leaders, right? And then we had positive leaders, right? Of course, positive, you could say their names, like you got Dr. King, positive leaders. Then you have who else is a positive leader that I can think of? John F. K, light leader. Let me get out of the politics. Who's another who's a LeBron James? You get where I'm going, right? Like these are say the conspiracies for the midnight lies. Yeah, for real. So like LeBron James, positive leader, light leader, right? And so you have light leaders and dark leaders, and I have to tell people keep that in mind, because that's where it comes in about reading certain books. People would tell you not to read a certain book because this person was a dark leader. And it's not really smart, I think, or intelligent wise to ignore. If you have a dark leader putting their information in pages, right? Their information in pages, telling you like what they're walking you through the process of like from the beginning to how they got where they're at. That's a learning moment. That's a learning experience. They learn from future things like that happening, right? Like I tell people all the time, I learn from my siblings. I learn from older people. They tell me, hey, you don't want to do this. How you know? Because I did it. Okay. Learning from experience, right? Before it became cool on YouTube and social media. Learning from experience. Like, don't do this, do this. If I was you, I'll do that. I'll take another route. So those are very important, and it goes back to like a school having this independence, meaning they're not trying to brainwash you into one set of thinking. They want you to have a very open mind, which is very good, which makes a school very, very unique and probably worth the money. And so G said, nah, I love conspiracies, LOL. I bet you do, G. And then G said, well, is yeah, that is true. Oftentimes, a dark leader does see themselves as a light leader, just like the fictional movie Thanos. Thanos felt like he was the light in the movie, right? Thanos was at first. I feel like if nobody before social media, when I watched it the first time, Thanos was a villain in my eyes. And I watched that probably before I really got deep. When that came out? When that came out? Let me make sure I'm telling this story right. Because when I watched it, Marvel Endgame, Marvel Avengers Endgame. Lord, y'all could tell I don't watch the Avengers like that. I said Marvel Endgame, Avengers Endgame. Yeah, that came out in 2019, and so right, it is the Endgame, right? With Thanos, right? That is the one, right? I feel so bad if I don't get this right. Thanos. Which one is it? Oh, the Infinity War. Yeah, that came out like 2018. I was 2018. I was what? How that far? I was out of 1 year out of high school. So yeah, when I definitely seen that movie, I thought Thanos was a villain. And so Jesus, get what? in game. Yeah, it does make it interesting. Which make I'm going down. I was going to see what I had said. And so guys, just to bounce back off, cause is it dark in here? A little bit. Hold on, guys. It's getting dark outside. And then close that. All right. So, yeah, there were two. It was the Affinity one. I looked it up. And so, yeah, when you have the cause G said they can be light in their eyes, but they're dark in our eyes. Same thing when I watch Thanos, like I was getting back on. And now I'm looking at the comments too. Same thing with Thanos, because Thanos, he felt like everything he was doing was good for the world, good for their planet, right? And he just felt like it was a natural order. I'm not gonna sit here and act like I'm gonna break down the movie. You know how you got the people who break down the movie saying this is that, this is this why. I'm like, I'm not that person. But all I can tell you though, Thanos did everything Thanos did. He felt like it was a purpose to it. He felt like it was needed. It was needed for correction, and so you could take that into a lot of ways, different perspectives. And I tell people that is what makes that's why I loved when I went to my university. That's why I loved about writing my papers, and that's what I like about graduate school a little bit, because I get to hear other people talk, and when I hear other people talk, I learn from them. And so that's just, I don't know why that intrigues me. And that's why I say everybody should definitely go to college. Like, that's the best example of college. When you go to a good college, like you go to a Stadnick and not Innovation College, and you don't have to go to a big school. Like, G went to Columbia. I went to Valdosta State University in a 2-year college. And now I'm in graduate school, but we were talking like that at a 2-year college and luckily my university, because the major I was in, you can go to school for that. Then people say, why should I go to school for that when I could talk about it on YouTube for free and da 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 and blah blah blah? Like, because sometimes you don't get paid to do that for free. You know, you still gotta have an income, you still have to pay bills, you know, you still have to. And so yeah, I appreciate that, G. And so let's get back to Columbia. I just really, because that's really good for a schoolhouse to be like that, guys. And that's why we do this. That's why we talk about higher education, because it's definitely worth it. And that's a mindset shifter right there. And so before we keep going. G said, well, I think the idea of seeing the world separate from what you grew up in helps you engage with the world more critically. Yes, yes, for sure. For sure, G. I would say that for sure, yes. So I read G comments out loud, guys, because it be me and G in here, really. And so until we get like a lot of more people in here, I can't, I'm gonna take advantage of reading these comments while I can. Because I'm telling you, I feel like when we get to the point where we can't read comments, it's gonna be more of, yeah, you just got to be in here to find out. And G drops a lot of gems, and I say that because you could just tell, you could just tell when you go to college, selling college a little bit. When you go to college, man, you really enjoy those conversations of people with like-minded conversations. Oh, that's another conversation in itself. Before we get back to Columbia, that's another conversation in itself. When you go to college, you get your associates, you get your bachelors, you get educated, you can't have certain conversations with people no more. Which I feel like it makes it easier for me it made it extra easy for me, G. Because I've never been the person to, like I said, engage with people on social media in a negative way. I just never, I know the consequences of that. So when you go to college, I feel like I was taught essentially just how to see ignorance and know how to deal with it. Like, pick and choose when to engage with it. Like, but you really just know when to not engage with it. You get to the point, that's where it taught me how to be diplomatic. You just know how to, evade things. And noticed that some people were really taught to themselves. One of my videos I did, it was a reaction. I had got a lot of bad comments, but one of the people in there, the main point is one of the people in there, I didn't respond to them. I could tell by their terminology that they were not there, and you can tell when a person is not there. And when I say not there, I'm not talking about them being crazy. I'm just saying they're just not there education wise. And so I knew how to not respond to it and give in to it. And so when you do that, they kept talking to themselves. And then you never know, you might have a loyal fan base who will come back and go at them. And so it was something you don't have to do. That's some game right there for people. You don't have to engage. You can let your other people take care of it. And you can just watch it, just examine. And so G said, college just tends to be the avenue for a vast majority of people to do so. Then G said, exactly. After learning about the world, you learn that some conversations are not really worth it. You do. And then G said, but you have to get out of your bubble to see that there is a lot of ignorance. But you have to get out of your bubble to see that there is a lot of ignorance. Yes. There is a lot of ignorance. And then, of course, that goes into the dialogue of like higher education being on the downtrend. People don't respect proper education no more. People would tell you to go on YouTube and get your education. Or, yeah, people would tell you to go on YouTube and get your education. People really would think, I don't know, that's a good scenario. That's a good idea. Would you rather go? I'm not even gonna say it because that'll give somebody an idea to make a video, and that's gonna be my video idea. That's gonna be my video idea. I'm not gonna lie. Just because we sparked that question, I might want to do that right away. I don't know. I had to go to somebody college though and ask it had to be with like-minded students. It had to be some education students definitely. And then G said, now I do believe YouTube education is actually really good. Let me read before. G said, I really don't mean to sound. Here you go. These little articulative words. G said, I really don't mean to sound. I don't know how to say that word. I don't want to butcher it right now. I'm gonna look it up first. Facious. Let's see. It's treating serious issues with deliberately inappropriate humor.
Facetious.
Facetious. I know that's pretty loud. My bad, y'all. Facetious. All right. So G said, I don't really mean to sound facetious, but you have been reading really well today. Appreciate that. And then G said, now I do believe YouTube education is really good. G said, the problem is that you have to wade through a lot of trash to get to the good stuff. Yes, you definitely have to go through the trash. Which is another reason why we started this live stream. Because I noticed a lot of people were talking about higher education and they didn't know what they were talking about. But ignorance rewards easily because people, when they know, it's like when people don't know what they're talking about, it gets views. Sadly to say. Or they could just put it in very simple terms. But people who don't really know what they're talking about and they're just giving you jargon, that's really like not good. And so, like I said, we've been watching on the sidelines. Frankly, we're going to start seeing more higher education channels doing live streams and trying to put in work. definitely for years to come. But I waited, like we said, 2020, and trust me, I'm getting to a point now. I'm about to start dropping some short form videos and some older videos of the journey of over time, me documenting like moving. Me and my mom was moving from the apartment when I was at my 2 year college, and then we was in the same complex, but moving to another apartment. Just everything over the course while still trying to do these live streams, and we still trying to do the live streams, like, you know, taking on a full-time job and still planning to do live streams at night, being a nighttime streamer, because it's gonna be hard to do morning streams, right? And we're at work in the morning, so it's a journey, and I'm just glad that I was already thinking about recording. Like, this ain't gonna happen overnight, but because I definitely wanted to put my education first. I think everybody should do that. I definitely want to go to college once I started realizing how important it was, and just being around the average person has like this type of net worth. I'm not even gonna lie. College, I was seeing people who was educated, and then I was using like nice, you joining the night owls. I know, right? And so it was a opinionated mindset at one for me, just thinking like, hey, it's not everybody with a bachelor's degree got money. And I don't think people realize that, G. That when you come from poverty at Section 8, G, I don't think people realize that when people go to college, they have money. Not like, you know, not like 100 million. Some do, but you get what I'm saying. Like, they don't just have like, but they have like a decent salary. Person go to college, they gonna get a decent salary usually, and they might not be happy with the 45 to 50K or the 30. They might not be happy with, yeah, they might not be happy with the 45. I'm gonna say, if anybody taking 30,000 these days, do not. But some people are, but people might not be happy with the 45 to 60 and so on. But you just don't get those type of jobs when you're in poverty or from Section 8, at least. Like, you would be surprised. I know people, who came to the military, and the military pays really well, first and foremost. So, because I do want some sponsorships from the military, I do want to be like, getting some sponsorship deals. I feel like I can advocate really well for the military. So, but it's people in the military who are like, literally, they're like, oh man, you make good money, man. I'm like, yeah, it's good. Don't get me wrong. It's really good money. Like, it's good money. Like, just to be from, I've seen people. I think we all have seen those people who don't have, who never made 40,000 or 45,000 a year, and they never will. Because people don't think about life happens. Court, felonies, you made some mistakes. And so G sent some stuff in the chat, and I can't go that long without mentioning G up in here. So I gotta acknowledge G. Then we're gonna jump back. If you do catch the live screen, and you feel like, man, he just doing opinionated stuff, man, watch the live screen, please. Watch the live screen. Just fast forward if you want to go back to Columbia. But this is what makes the live screen good. I love these conversations because when I'm by myself, I'm forced to just go straight through the live screen. So I love having these conversations with G, and many more to come. And let me show G some love. I always show G love. And I want G to keep grinding too in that business that I don't know about. I just want G to keep grinding. Because one day, G, we're going to have a meetup, and I'm going to meet you. We're going to do a meetup. Oh, yeah, we way off course. Yeah, we off course. But hey, it's okay, though. It's okay, though. It's worth it. Because when we have them meetups, G, we're going to have them meetups. We're going to do some meetups when the fan base get a little bigger. It's going to be worth it. So, I'm going to have a sign waiting on you, G. I'm going to be like, G. Day one. So, G said, join the Night Owls. I seen that. Then G said, are you going to pre-record some videos before the start of work and the school year? That's what we've been doing now, G. This has been the pre-recordings. This has been the pre-recording. So if I do happen to miss a day of live streaming, you gonna have some videos that I did from the live stream. You know, like I'm gonna be having. I got like easily from doing these live streams, which it was a great idea I came up with. Felt um, like I definitely got like 20 videos on ice, over 20 videos on ice. Not to include like we still got to get through August. School don't start till August 25th. So we, LOL, I'm sure we'll meet each other at the very least. I'll know you even if you don't know me. See, G always trying to move in silence, trying to move like in the movies. Like, I'll know you, but you won't know me. Let me do it like in the movies. I'll know you, but you won't know me. That's how G coming like in the movie, the dramatic scene. And so G said, at the very least, they have more money than a high school diploma people. Yup. And then G said, on average, at the very least, LOL. I never heard no one say that. LOL. My parents told me to avoid the military at all costs. The military is a really good way out of your situation. Oh yeah, we way off course. LOL. Yeah. And then I'll message you on your platform, maybe. And then G said, nice, you sound prepared then. And then I'll message you on your platform, maybe. Okay. I appreciate that, G. I appreciate that. And so I'll be looking for that if you do. And yeah. So yeah. And G said I never heard anybody. Hold on, G. When you say you never heard anybody say that, let me get back on Columbia before I go down this whole rabbit hole. Let's go back. All right. So yeah, Columbia. We are not done with Columbia. We are at almost an hour, which is good. And guys, like I said, we almost done with it though. Actually, Columbia gave up a lot. We talked about the faculty hiring, the admissions, and curricular decisions. They still got control over that. Shout out to Columbia. And it said right here that the university dodged a consent decree. It says a legal measure that would have put a federal judge in charge of ensuring Columbia complied with its pledges. Instead, a third-party monitor chosen by the university and the government will oversee the settlement and provide biannual reports. So it's, like some students got the worst end of the stick. They getting expelled, they getting suspended. Columbia gets to keep their independence. And so I think this is an overall, like G said, it's an overall get it over with deal. Now they shouldn't have no more problems, but let alone they should be mindful. They're always going to have problems. As long as this administration is in, Columbia knows they just need to, hey, you just expect the unexpected. That's how you need to navigate this right now. Expect the unexpected. Think out, not outside the box. I feel like that's too traditional to say, but you have to think. You have to think like a left-handed person. Fun fact: I'm left-handed, so you have to think like a left-handed person right now. What does that mean? So, what does that mean? Thinking like before I keep going, before we go to the last segment. Yeah, I believe we touched on everything in Columbia. It was a much. The deal was the breaker because Columbia. That means if Columbia does this deal, before I talk about the left-handed perspective, the left-handed think like a left-hander. The thing about Columbia taking this deal is that we're expecting like Harvard and other Ivies, other schools to take deals. That's why they're celebrating this deal, the Trump administration. They say if we can break Columbia, they're going to say, let me tell you what they're going to say. Media, Trump and them going to be like, we broke them, we won. Now it's going to pressure schools to take deals. Like, look, even Columbia took a deal. You are just some wacko XYZ school that nobody ever heard of in the middle of nowhere. You're going to take a deal. If you don't take a deal, we're going to make sure your school closes down and you're not going to have a job. This is what it's about. Taking jobs, making you find another job, and making it hard for you. If I learned anything being in America, that's what it's about. Survival of the fittest. And they'll say it. I think that's not a secret. It's survival of the fittest in America, man. And like, you really got to be competitive. You got to be like, it's me or you. That's literally what court is. Like, it's us against you. And so it's the same mentality in life. it's us against us, it's us against them. And then you have people like G who chooses to what collaborate with me and help build a brand. You know, he's helping me. G is helping me build a brand as a supporter on YouTube. G is a brand supporter, and I have to treat G and many others with respect. Get their opinions, get their votes, get their like, hey, what y'all like, what y'all don't like, and as I look at it, I essentially work for them. They are the people, and that's how it's supposed to be usually. But it's a competitive world out here. And then before I do the left-handed, I'm gonna talk about being left-handed, the left-handed perspective, and then I'm gonna talk about the last segment, and then I'm gonna let y'all go. YouTube, yeah, and then the left-handed mindset. And I don't know if everybody gonna be like this. That's left-handed. They might laugh at me because they're like, what? So G said, G is typing. G said, this Columbia deal is ridiculous, and I understand what they want. I understand they wanted to end it now. G said they go they go shut up and keep their heads down for the next few years. Yeah, that's what I advise. Being strategic about it, calculated. I just say try to keep their heads down. G said we have more in common than you realize, LOL. There are only a handful of schools who can afford not to take a deal, especially with the tax hikes. Exactly. Which we talk about tax hikes during the live stream. Some of you might feel like it don't matter, and then me and G gonna be right here on the live stream when we start hearing schools that people know about closed down. That's when it's gonna get very interesting. Like schools that we're like, what? And then it's gonna be interesting. So G said it throws a really big wrench in a lot of these universities' budgets. As a content creator, whether you like it or not, you have to take your audience into account. Yes, even if you don't take all of their ideas, especially that. I'm ambidextrous. I'm ambidextrous, so I have the mid perspective. Yeah, so I got the left-handed perspective. Everything I think about it. I don't know. At least in a right-handed person eyes, I'm thinking about it in a backwards way. So, like, I don't understand why people. Let me tell you one example that I had a problem with education-wise. You might think I'm crazy. Let me write it down on my paper. Let me see. No, that's a good one. No. Um. All right, yeah. That's the problem I had in school, right there. That my teachers never tried to help me. I think it was something they overlooked, and so yep. And G said, regardless whether they have a lot of money, these schools are going to take deals. Columbia has a lot of money, and so does Harvard. And because they threaten the international students, they definitely going. They definitely gonna eventually come to the table. They may already be at the table. Yeah, I definitely know. Was it? I see. That's why we write down our notes. Harvard is already. They speculated when I did the live stream on the 22nd. They already said Harvard was doing side talks, like mediating talks, settlement talks with the Trump administration. So, and Columbia just did a deal. So, like you said, right there, it could be on the table already. I wouldn't be surprised if Harvard does a deal over the weekend or tomorrow's Friday. I won't be surprised they do a deal tomorrow or definitely next week or over the weekend. And the left-handed mindset is that, so guys, when you add I never understood this coming up. It used to bother me. So everything I do, right, when I write, I go left to right. When I write on paper, some of you kids, we in the same generation, but some of you kids will understand. When you write on paper, you go from left to right. You go from left to right. Left to right when you write, right? When I write, I go left to right. When the people who are right-handed write, y'all go right to left. So when I add or have to subtract, right? Like adding is a little different. It don't really matter adding. But like when you subtracting, you gotta regroup. You know, you gotta do numbers on the top or multiplication. But definitely subtraction. Not adding too. See, I'm already confused myself. When adding, you gotta go from right to left to get the proper math answer, right? And some people who left-handed be like, that don't make sense. But I'm like, look, my brain is programmed so different, I can't explain it. I just have to adjust to things sometimes. And it doesn't make it real hard. It doesn't make it completely complicated doing math, dividing percentages, especially when you looking at stocks and stuff. You got it's nothing but add, divide, and subtraction and all that. But yeah, that's one of the examples right there. And then when I tie my shoes, I don't go over. People when they tie their shoes, if people still do tie their shoes, I don't go over. I go under. I go under when I tie my shoes. I go under. I go under, not over. I go under. So I immediately caught on to the fact that everybody thinks different than I would think. Like, and that's probably why I never could relate to some teachers. Not because the left-handed perspective. It's because I'm left-handed. That's a contribution to it. But definitely because I'm just literally thinking different about attacking things or doing things. Probably shouldn't use attack, but I'm definitely just thinking differently on how to address it and go about it. Yeah, just that's what my mind is doing. That's what my mind is doing. And I kick with my left foot, right with my left hand. I bat when I play baseball. I bat it with my left. Everything. So I just want to get that perspective because that does mess with the mindset. I think you a little confused, LOL. Right-handed people go left to right as well. When writing, oh, y'all do? See, look, I don't know. I don't pay attention to right-handed people writing. I thought right-handed people would go from, no, y'all do go right. See, I'm just talking at that point. I'm talking. Hello. How I go with right-handed people right? Oh, y'all fingers don't drag. That's what it is. Y'all fingers don't drag. Y'all don't have to worry about the little, I get this on my finger. People probably like, what are they talking about? I get that on my finger when I write. That'd be on my hand when I write. And ink had to pick my hand up a little bit. But you right. You do write left to right. I don't know why I thought y'all right. Right-handed people, I don't know. I thought y'all write a different way. Y'all do, but I don't know. I was thinking completely different. And then G said, I think you're a little confused, a little bit. Right-handed people go left to right as well, but I get what you're saying. Fun fact, doing rapid math, you go left to right. What? In Arabic, they go right to left. But G said in rapid math. So guys, have y'all ever heard of that? For my people, if y'all play this back and actually listen. G said, fun fact, doing rapid math, you go left to right actually, as opposed to right to left. You go left to right actually, as opposed to right to left. So why do you go? Yeah, when doing mental math, they teach you to go left to right. They never taught me that in school. Unless I missed that part, I never heard that. See, man, that's what I be talking about, man. That's what I be talking about. That's the stuff I be talking about. Simple stuff. That's what I be talking about. How? So hold up. If you go left to right, when you get the wrong answer, G, if you go left to right when you're doing a math problem, right? Won't that be wrong? Because they always say go right to left. Now I'm waiting on the answer. I'm waiting on the answer. I'm waiting on the answer on this one. I'm gonna wait for this one. Tickety talk. Tickety talk, G. Tickety talk. That's because no one actually teaches mental math / rapid math. I taught it myself. It's a technique thing. Man, that's tough. I'm gonna do that today. I'm gonna practice that a little bit, G. I'm gonna be getting frustrated, but I'm gonna practice that. That's dope. I waited for that one. I wanted to hear a response on that one. That's crazy. Hey man, Columbia University, man. That's a Columbia University product right there. Still not better than me, but you know. So the last segment, man. Colleges are on the breaking point. Colleges are on the breaking point. I have never been so certain the college has been on the breaking point. G said, "Yeah, look it up." Oh, I'm gonna look it up. You know, I'm gonna look it up. G, we be fact checking you, and we definitely be fact checking. We gained a lot of information too, G. I do want you to know, G. We really appreciate you, for real. Um, like when I say we do fact check you, but at the same time, you have taught us information that we didn't know either, and like we really like learn from you, G. And I can't wait to get many more G's in here because, like, guys, I don't think like higher education is my field. Don't get me wrong, but with G bringing that Ivy League perspective, the intelligence, it gives me hope to know like there's still I'm laughing because it's like it's really bad out here, man. Like as far as like people not knowing the difference between being intelligent and actually they think intelligent is having things, intangible things or awards all the time and stuff like that. And I know that's a social media thing for sure. But like having genuine people who we may not know that are very intelligent, that's what I strive for in this community. Like I really want more G's out there who deserve a spotlight for being bright and who they are. Like this is like gonna be a like G said, this is gonna be a new wave. Then we're gonna have to filter through the people who just pretended again. But this is gonna be a new wave of like being proud of going to college, being proud of like genuinely just like I say, I'm normal. Like guys, when I say I'm normal, I can walk you through my daily structure. That's how normal I am. And so I'm very normal. And G said some things in here before we do the last segment. So G said, I always used to say that anyone asking for sources, oh, G said, I appreciate you too. LOL. And then G said, oh, again, G said, once you get the hang of it, it's kind of hard to go back. So when you get used to going left to right, learning, doing math, G said, it's kind of hard to go back once you get used to doing it. And G said, I appreciate you too, LOL. I always used to say that anyone asking for sources is just too lazy to look it up themselves. And then G said, I always go back, regardless of you providing me sources, it's a sign of high intelligence to not take anything at face value. Dang, G. LOL. G said LOL behind that. And then he said, I hear new information that interests me. I immediately look it up when I have time. I like that. Because he's definitely right. Math left to right. You already know I'm going to ask the question. Wow. Get off my screen, Google AI. Where was you in 2021? Oh, wow, it is. It is. Oh, wow. Crazy. Crazy. All the information be on the internet. And G said, yeah, I love that you ask questions. Yeah, I got to. Like, that's been my biggest, if somebody asks me if people ask me what's the key to success, I'll say ask questions. But I think most people don't take that. They think that's I don't know. They think that's what's that word? They think that's a bull crap answer. Like, curiosity is a sign of high intelligence, LOL. See? Feels good coming from a Columbia student. Feels pretty good. Yo, because I'm curious. Sometimes I think I'm too curious. But I'm definitely curious. Very much. And so college is on the breaking point, man. I always gotta give you that shout out, man. Not colleges, universities are on the breaking point more of all. So where is it? I will start here. It was about the 6. Yeah, it's this right here. So I got a word for you, G. I got a word for you. Where is it? I said, ooh, I was ready. It's geniusy. A geniusy. I think that's how you say it. A geniusy era. 4 principles for higher ed's new agency era. If I said that right, let me see. Exigency. There you go. I said it a little wrong. Exigency. That's the word right there. That's the word. That's the word with the plan right there. Which means, what that word mean actually? Before I say the wrong thing, that word means an urgent need or demand. And so, G said, no such thing as being too curious unless it comes as a hindrance to your well-being. But that's what makes a genius. LOL. G, you dropping bars. You gonna have some people out here trying to take these lyrics you got. Cause you say this and that, I'm already thinking the rap song right there. I be like, I'm digging that right there. Let me find out you're a ghostwriter for rappers too, cause they could use some of your bars though. You be flowing those lyrics. Definitely like some poetic justice lyrics right there. Definitely. And so, 4 principles for higher ed's new era right now. New demanding era. As we talked about, guys, this makes me feel good that we are so like in the loop of everything going on in higher education. I kind of feel bad that we're not being respected a little bit. Why do I say that? Because G said you beat me to the death. You beat me to the death? That's what you said, G? Beat you to the death? Yeah. I feel good that we are in the loop on a lot of things. Like and subscribe. We are in the loop on a lot of things, man. I look at stories a lot of times, guys, and I'm like, man, we seen this story already. And some people are trying to we are right. We're spot on with everything. Why do I say we're spot on with everything? Based on the new 4 principles. Oh, I'll beat you to the definition. Oh. And so based on these 4 principles, higher ed is on the breaking point. I'm about to get into it, but everything that I'm about to say, I know it sounds like it's the same thing, but guys, like, these are professionals saying this now. This was my perspective and what I believe. Like I said, I read a lot of articles in graduate school, and they were not, as I said, they were not preparing for nothing like this. And I got something else to talk about. It's a sub conversation. It's about it was a post about Georgia Tech, and it was about evaluations on college football teams. By the way, I could definitely go on a rant for that. So we might be going at 2 hours again. But so the first one is, well, before we get to the first one, it's about professionals are saying that it's tempting to compare what's going on with the Trump administration. It's tempting to compare that this is similar to COVID pandemic times. But they said even with COVID pandemic times, things were getting better day by day. They're saying now with the Trump administration that in my career field, higher ed, they're saying every day is uncertain. And that's how you have to think sometimes. Like, every day is uncertain. You don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. And that's how you need to, honestly, that's how you should treat life. You shouldn't be treating it as if, I understand how stressful that can be at work. Sometimes you just want to go to work and go home. You like, man, it's my job not to really worry about what's gonna happen. And it's you still don't have to treat every day as the unexpected. I would say these are more on presidents and execs in higher education who are more worried about, is my school gonna be open in the next 6 months or 12 months? That's more on them to figure out. Why? Because remember, declining enrollment, they said it right here. Where is it? They said it right. I'm gonna go to this. It's an opinion, but they already said it like, with threats to their budgets, including cuts in federal research funding, an increased endowment tax, and a possible chill. Pretty much when they say pretty much a low enrollment, or what's that, low enrollment or declining enrollment for international students. Like, schools are going to miss out on money that they probably can't make back up, because students are going to go, like we talked about, they're going to settle on their state schools, or they might just go study abroad. And you got to remember who's in office. And this is not even speaking bad about it. This is like I said, they should have saw this coming. Literally, you had a whole, Trump said it from the jump. And I'm nonpartisan. Trump said it from the jump. I'm running for president again. I'm coming back. So higher education, pretty much what they did, all universities, because they struggling the most. The university said, look, that's why I left that's part of the reason why I left my university, because I wasn't finna be on the chopping block. I already know how it go. So I took my chances and betted on myself, and it worked out. But schools, when Trump said I'm running for president again, no school prepped for what he was going to do. No school paid him attention. Nobody tried to even see, like, nobody, if I was a president or high exec, I would have reached out to Trump strategically. I would have reached out to him and said, what's your plans for higher education if you do win? I mean, what if he do win? The open mindset, what if he wins? What y'all gonna do? Oh, we'll wait till we cross that bridge if he wins. So we just gonna wait to see if he wins, and then we're gonna be running around like chickens with our head cuts off. Don't say that's too much, because people eat chicken all the time, so I don't want to hear it. So and if you don't eat chicken, that's not fair to say. But everybody's running around with their heads not on. That's what's going on. So yeah, it's building up something. And that's the opinion we're going to look at too. But as we keep going, where is it? Because I was following it. Time isn't bringing understanding. That's what I want to say. So, did we ever say that? Nope. That's going to be from the opinionated I got it from. But they pulled it from here. They quoted it. It says in 2020, each passing week of the month, as I said, you got clarity and predictability. Now you don't. And I like this type of environment a little bit, because it's like the stock market. In the stock market, I really like how you just take the second to explain yourself. Yeah, I got to, because sometimes it will, words can come off. We still human, and words can come off the wrong way and hurt people. So I do try to keep that in mind and take my time. I learned that at 20 years old. Somebody said I hurt their feelings, because I guess I came off a little too 2020, 2021-ish. They said I came off a little too. This when I started realizing my words matter. And that's a whole nother story in itself. But I appreciate that, G. And so I like the certainty is uncertain. They said now the only certain is uncertainty. I like that, because in the stock market, nothing is certain. Disclaimer, I'm not a financial advisor. One thing I feel like what makes me pretty good at the stock market, not crazy return type of person. I'm not like I'm dropping $500,000 a day or $100,000 a day making money in the stock market, but I'm a consistent player in it. And why is because you have to have nobody can predict the future. Like, don't get me wrong, you got some people who are, taking advantage. You got the inside traders and political office and things of that nature, right? But as far as me and what I can control in that market, because that market don't play. That market, I was watching Trading Places on the side note. And Trading Places at the end, he told his the Duke brothers, I think the Duke brothers, he said he said your brother's having a heart attack. He said, I don't care. He said, I don't give a blank. He said, I don't care. Turn that machine on. And the stock market is a machine, man. It don't play. It would take whoever money who is not intelligent enough to comprehend what's going on. Like, it would take your money. It would take your life. That stock market would take your life. And so higher education is in that time now because they wasn't being, they actually saw this coming. This was clear as day. But they just, I don't know. I guess they were just making too much money, wasn't paying attention. So now they suffering from the consequences, which is this problem. This isn't all the president's doing. This is so true. Who said this? This was Gary D. Stalker, founder of College Viability LLC. They are simply, he said right here, there are simply too many colleges and not enough students. Point blank. Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. He said right here, political attacks can't be blamed for supply and demand problems. What we been talking about all the time on this live screen. Gary D. Stalker, shout out to you, man. Shout out to you. I say that all the time. There's no way Trump hitting you that quick that, oh, it's the president's fault. No, that's a bailout. You're trying to use a bailout for what we already saw happening. We saw declines in enrollment. We saw, it's no secret that students were less and less enrolling. And then if they don't get into the Ivies, because I got me an Ivy person in the chat, then they gonna settle for a state school or they gonna stay in their home country. Because like G said, Ivies like Columbia and Harvard, they have a lot of international students. So I saw little articles before, like international students, like it was some stories from Chronicle and some different places, like if they can't come study here with everything going on, they're just gonna go to school over there in their country and keep it pushing. So, and I'm pretty sure you can find that and go find that out. It's definitely should be some articles or opinions or definitely posts from credible people on that. But this supply and demand, it goes back to my thesis. Actually, where my thesis at? Go back to my business thesis. Like I said, and if somebody take this thesis, all I'm gonna do is call you out on it, cause I'm calling people out. Where is it? Man, I've been writing this a lot. Man, we've been live streaming every day, so there you go. We said right here, college is becoming unaffordable, which is creating what? It's not creating a supply, right? Which is not going to create, it's not creating a demand. It's not creating a demand. Oops, got that confused. College is becoming unaffordable, so it's not going to be a demand for it. And then we're not having a supply because there's no demand, right? Did I say that right? Explain it sometimes come out wrong, but when you don't have no supply and demand for college, nobody wants to go. And it sounds a little wrong. Not the biggest economic person, but I do get supply and demand. So you have a lot of supply of colleges. That's the example I want to do. You have a lot of supply, but you don't have enough demand of students. There we go. Give me some time, and I had it. So that's why I said that college is becoming unaffordable, which will raise the value. It will raise the value of college, but which will create a high demand with a needy supply. That's what I said. That's another perspective, but the perspective really is we have too many colleges, which is a lot of supply of colleges, and we don't have enough demand of students, which means basic economics that I took in high school and in my 2-year college. I should have took it again. I feel like I should have took economics every year at every school. I even thought about taking it in graduate school just to take it on graduate level. And we say all the time college is a business, especially in the U.S., so the principles of economics does apply somewhat at least. She said somewhat at least. And it is. That's what they say. It's a business. People invest in it. We ain't doubting it. But what we saying is that, what me and G are saying is that these colleges are about to close down. And this guy right here, or guy or young lady, guy or lady, I don't know, Gary D. Stalker can be a lady. I'm just saying, Gary, I assume because I heard the name Gary. Shouldn't do that. I assume the name Gary was a guy, but I don't know Gary. But Gary said that there's just too many colleges, and we say that all the time. And then it keeps going. Oh, we ain't done. We're not near done. And so it's time for caution up to this point. That's what Chronicle Higher Education said. It's time for caution. So it says right here, easier said than done, but colleges would do well to marshal as much data and strategic thinking as they can before implementing cuts or reorganizations with long-term consequences. So this depends on your president. This depends on your board and your president right now. If you got a strong president, they're going to make sure that the future of the college looks good. It's not about the students right now. Students right now, you're going to be all right. Like if you're about to be a freshman to your senior year, you might be okay. It might kick in by your junior year, maybe. That's me just if I had to say sooner. But I think this next 4 years, like to 2029 class, they're going to be good. But the ones after that, the 5 to 10 year mark, it's going to look real either good or bad. And so G said right here, I mean, I think I told you the biggest concern that a lot of G didn't say it like that, y'all. That's how I'm reading it. I mean, I think I told you the biggest concern that a lot of the mid-tier private college schools are facing is, he said, mid-tier private college schools are facing is students wishing up and taking scholarships at big state schools when they don't get into their dream school or a top-tier school. Yeah. You did say that, G. You said that's the biggest concern, private college schools. And then I look at it from a public state perspective, and you look at it, I think, from a private. I feel like you look at it more. I feel like you do. Don't let me put them words in your mouth. I feel like you look at it more from a private view, which is good to have, because I don't know much about the private sector. Every college I went to has been public. I just know that, you know, we factor in like the states are not really helping out with funding. So what that means is that a lot of funding will have to come from what hopefully students, or like a school might not have state funding or federal funding. And if they already don't have students enrolling as much, which is a third key component, that school could be on the verge of shutting down. If they don't have revenue from students coming, they might as well say athletics is keeping the school open, but athletics don't even generate that much. Because like we talk about, if you are a school, like prime example, if you go to a D1 school, a Division 1 school, some Division 1 schools you wouldn't know they got football teams. Some Division 1 schools you wouldn't know they had a basketball team. And why do they have it if they're not making money? Like, you can go do it for yourself. It's like a ghost town. You go to some games, you might see a few people, but you're gonna realize like it's not packed and sold out. I think a prime example was this college. It wasn't Division 1, but my high school played in this college gymnasium, and the gymnasium was sold out from a high school game. But this college never sold out in basketball games ever. They never sold out in basketball games. But my high school rivalry in basketball, they sold out this college gym. And so that's an example of like colleges, and that came from students themselves. They said they never seen as many people in the gym going to a basketball game, right? And that's something to keep in mind. Like, they got things that are wasting money as well when we go back to the amenities. And G said, also off topic, I had a college professor who said, just say what you believe. No need to preface. I said preface. Hey, preface, all right. See that word all the time. It's what they exposing. Getting exposed. I'm gonna say preface, but it's really like
Preface.
It's really preface. I said preface right away. It's preface. So don't get me, G. You say what you believe. No need to preface. LOL. He only said that because he found that a lot of people from our generation tends to do that. I only brought that up because it looks to be that many of the schools are facing these problems are more than likely specialized, including religious or private and small. I'm gonna read that one more time. Well, I only brought that up because it looks to be that many. I said I was supposed to myself a little bit. I always skip it because it's in the beginning of a book, and I'm like, I ain't never got to say that word out loud. I used to always say that. Ain't that funny how life works? I always said I ain't gotta say this word out loud. I don't have to. I'm never. I don't think I'm gonna write a book anytime soon. And so I'm like, look, got caught up saying preface, came back on me, and so and G, when you say what's that word? Preface.
Preface.
Yeah, preface. When you say preface, I had a college professor who said, just say what you believe. No need to preface. And a preface means exactly an introduction to a book, but more of an introduction to why I'm explaining. So you're saying I don't need to explain what I'm about to explain, essentially. I don't need to give you a whole spiel about why I'm trying to get my point across. Got you. I feel like that's what I feel like. Let me know, instructor G. Let me know, instructor G, if I got that right. Let me know. And so as G typed that up, because G telling me that, give me that advice, that's gonna let me know, like, okay, just go. Just say what you want to say, what's on your mind. Until they ask me why I'm seeing that perspective, that makes sense, G. See? I would have never met G if I ain't start live screaming. I bet they like, who is this G? He always talking about this G. I think you definitely see this more in. So it's a confidence thing. Okay. G said, I think you definitely see this more in intelligent people, but that's more or less what he was trying to convey. It's a confidence thing. Okay. I got you. I'm just going to flow. I got you. And many times, the more intelligent you are, the less sure you are of yourself. Really? That's crazy. And many times, the more intelligent you are, the less sure you are of yourself. Huh. Okay. I'll be reading these words with potency. So, appreciate that, G. And so right here, we got Warford. I think Warford is taking a wait and see approach. All right. So a college, I believe this college is called Warford. I'm gonna go over here to the pen. This is not it. We don't need that. This is it. Warford. Let me see. It should be on this list. All right. So a chief financial officer at Warford College. They said a chief financial officer at Warford College said they are taking the wait and see approach instead of making quick cuts. Working in the college's favor, it doesn't rely heavily on international students or federal research funding. I never heard of Warford. I think it's called Warford College. Ow. Warford College. Yeah, it's called Warford College. And so I seen G said something. I was talking to Al, y'all. She came in. Which is why I'm sure. Oh, especially when it's an opinion on something you are not expert in. Yeah. Especially when it's an opinion you're not expert in, which is why I'm sure people. Yeah, that is normally why. Before that. But he was also impatient, so I guess he wanted to get rid of the fluffs to move the conversation along. Either way, LOL, I think it's fine to just speak the truth. Speak your truth. It's always fine, right? It's always fine. It's always. You just try to be mindful for people's feelings. Sometimes people can't take the truth. sometimes. But that's how we get back to that a little bit, start speaking it. And so Warford said they're taking a wait and see approach. Swarthmore College has deferred passing its budget until the fall, hoping the extra months will clarify its scenario planning. But holding patterns are just that. They say want to wait 12 months. That's a school right there. And I saw something else real quick. Get used to getting leaner. I did not know what this meant, but somebody said get used to getting leaner. They said right here, for many colleges, setting a budget for the next year involves sacrifices from all quarters. It says Paul C. Pirbanel. No. That's a very interesting last name. President of Augsburg University. Never heard of this school before. When I say I come across like some schools I've never heard of, I'm like, is that a real school? So this is the school right here. Never heard of that school. And so, but they said that there are going to be a lot of positions that are vacant. Some positions going to be vacant to where they are closed off. They won't be there no more. And the bigger issue, they said many institutions have grown beyond their ability to support themselves. And that's the truth. But nobody's still bringing up these. I guess sports are good. Magically, I guess sports are good. I guess sports paying the bills. Because I'm really trying to figure out if the schools are struggling this bad, how are they paying for these amenities? Y'all already know what I'm coming from. Like, that's just my idea. Like, but I just feel deep down, certain schools are not gonna close. Certain schools are not gonna close. Some will, a lot will, but most will not. And they can't support themselves. Says a professor from Johns Hopkins University. Some colleges have long resisted narrowing their profiles and purviews. Now they have no choice. So pretty much they saying some colleges have dodged this for a long time, disregarded it, didn't pay it no attention. Now they have to face their problems. Nah, I don't know who that is. I do not know who that is. I'll ask my girl. She know diseases and stuff. I asked if she know that person. But he won a Nobel Peace Prize in chemistry. Oh wow. Definitely gotta check that out. And that's at the school I mentioned. Okay. They said expect more brass tacks reviews of struggling academic programs and there you go, G. There you go. Expect more brass tacks reviews of struggling academic programs and athletic teams and scholarships, says Ruth Johnson, vice president for consultant at the National Association of College and University Business Officers. So she said, expect that, like, if you are struggling athletic program or struggling academic program, your program is about to be cut. And who's that? That's a shot at students, as we talk about, because you need to be mindful why it's important to know what college you need to go to, or if this college in good standing. If you're not watching this channel, just know I tried to warn you. It's not your fault that you was getting fed all the ignorance on social media. And then the athletic teams, if that, like I said before, it's a lot of athletic teams. I know for sure. I don't know why they're running, and I don't know why they're getting new things. If your athletic program is not, if it's not making money, now if it's making money and they just terrible, cool, whatever. That's but if they ain't making money and they're terrible and you're spending it, it's bad investment. That's bad basic principle investing. And schools are like really at that point, like that rope is about to be cut. And then G said, yeah, like you said earlier, a lot of schools are going to be tightening their belt anyway. And then he said something about Columbia. And Columbia was actually already tightening its belt before COVID and Trump politics on lackluster programs by combining a lot of programs. See, being proactive and not reactive. That's being proactive and not reactive. But the bigger picture here. Let's get to the bigger picture. The bigger picture here. Oh, this is the part two I want to say. Prepare for crisis of closures. I almost missed it. How I almost missed it because I was about to do the big picture. It's in the big picture too. Prepare for crisis and closures. This is not me saying this. I have spoke about this, but we are really finna. It's coming from the professionals now. It's coming from the professionals. Prepare for the crisis of closures. Colleges won't just be leaner. They will be fewer. The process of shutting down an institution is getting messier, says Stalker. Timelines for closure have become shorter as struggling colleges seek to hide damaging financial reports. A moment of silence for everybody who at this college, who work at this college, go to school at this college, play sports at this college. Stalker said colleges have been hiding damaging financial reports. Nah, they didn't want to respect me when I said this in interviews. Maybe because I was speaking the truth. Damaging financial reports. Now, I said before, students, parents, and guardians going to have to suffer from this. They're going to have to suffer. Because of the presidents, the execs. Now, ask me this. If these schools are having damaging financial reports, why are the presidents getting paid millions of dollars? And I'm definitely going to clip this up. This and many other ones saying, like, look, university presidents making multi-millions, but their school finna close down. This president was making like $500,000 salary, or with bonuses, whatever, and their school is about to close down. I'm not saying that's the main reason. I'm saying there could have been some restructuring along the lines of minimizing the money, right? Offering more benefits, taking away some programs, some sports programs that wasn't generating money, but instead hurting our school. Just restructure, you know? Just restructure. I might not know everything about the finance world, but I have a very common understanding that when something don't make sense, if something don't make sense, it's probably about to be, it's not finna end well. And so they've been hiding damaging financial reports, and then to the point right here, they said timelines for closure. I'm gonna read that again. Timelines for closure have become shorter as struggling colleges seek to hide damaging financial reports until they are past the point of no return. So they will hide them until they can return. Accreditors need to help more colleges close in a responsible fashion, he says. They, like, this person right here, Stalker, I think that's the person we talked about earlier. Gary D. Stalker, Gary said, look, it ain't a matter of when. It's not a matter of, like, if they're going to close. Oh, they're about to close. And creditors need to be helping them go ahead and, hey, you got to go. Like I said we have a lot of colleges here in America. I couldn't tell you exactly if we had a lot of, I couldn't tell you exactly, like, for sure if we had the most out of any other country, but I could tell you in America we have too many schoolhouses, like colleges. We have too many of them. Like, we have some colleges that just are there. And so now, the big picture, in the months ahead, college leaders will spend much of their time in the land of puts and takes, poring over their financial models, weighing what positions can be eliminated, what real estate can be sold, liquidated. This is all form of liquidation. What services can be outsourced. Still, out of all of this, they must find the headspace to show policymakers and the public why their financial health matters, says Robert Goldberg, Vice President for Finance and Administration at Schwartz Swarthmore College. He's not saying Robert is not saying anything different from what I'm saying. Robert is not saying nothing different. And G is giving me some pushback. G said, I don't necessarily think we have too many. We just have too many who don't really add any actual value to the marketplace of colleges that attracts customers, aka students, to justify their prices. Bingo. Exactly. And then they come in here thinking they could do what the bigger schools do, or a college. They could be bigger than some colleges, but they think because they're a big school or they're a small school. They could be a small school trying to be like a big school. They could be a big school trying to do what small schools are doing, but they can't do it like a small school, and now they suffering for it. And so, exactly, G. Exactly. So that's pretty much it about that. College is on the breaking point. We're gonna keep watching it. It's not getting better. I'm just waiting for the actual, like, bam, this college closed down. Bam, this college closed down. Bam, this college closed down. Bam, that college closed down. Bam, 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 bam. They're just closing down left and right, left and right. I'm just waiting on that, because we definitely gonna be tenfold on it. And so let's break down the college. I'm definitely gonna break down this college right here. I never heard. What is it? I'm gonna do the college. G said that Nobel Peace Prize winner. We're gonna do. I'm not pronounce that school, by the way. I don't not pronounce that school. Augsburg. I think that's how you say Augsburg. Actually, I probably did hear about that school. You know, you watch movies and they say, "Oh yeah, this person went to Augsburg." I think I heard that school before. But I'm be honest with you, because I'm from Georgia, it sounds like Augusta for a second. I was definitely going to call it Augusta. For sure. Augsburg University. It's a public college. This is a private university in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Cold like Minnesota. And it's private. And yes, they do have who G mentioned, Peter. And then G said, that was a good pronunciation, but I'm sure you have never heard of it in that context. I have never heard of it. You're right. I have never. They are really private, because I never heard of them. And before I say their name wrong, if I said it wrong, I'm going to use the pronunciation tool. Yeah, Augsburg.
Augsburg.
Yeah.
Augsburg.
She sounded like Augsburg, like.
Augsburg.
Yeah, with Augsburg. I'm gonna say Augsburg. Yeah, it's an more old soundish, but Augsburg. All right, we're gonna do Augsburg. So Augsburg is private first and foremost, but as we learned, no private school is safe in these circumstances right now. Augsburg is not struggling. I don't believe they're struggling. They just had somebody speaking on the situation. So we're going to do our research. We're going to check their website and let you go, because we still managed to hit almost 2 hours, and we did not try to hit 2 hours. I don't try to keep you guys long, but hey, if it works out that way, it works out that way. I managed to keep G attention, so I did pretty good this live stream. I did pretty good. So, Augsburg, tuition and fees. And some dude who won a Nobel Peace Prize 20 plus years ago went there, LOL. They winning these Nobel Peace Prizes. They winning them. This is a good one. Guys, am I back? I should be back. Yeah, I'm back. So, Augsburg University, Minnesota. Yep, I got their tuition right here. And just waiting for it to load on the College Scorecard. So, let's go. Okay. So, wow, that is a interesting word. Because they said this school is, I think it's a Catholic school too. Let me not be ignorant. This is a different type of church school. I just copied and pasted, I think. Did I copy it? Nope. This is a I never seen this before. That's why I don't want to pronounce it. If I had to try, it's a definitely got angelical. If I feel like it's evangelical Lutheran Church School. If I said that correct. And it's a special destination for Asian American and Native American Pacific Islander servant institution. Though the reason I mentioned the Asian American and Native American Pacific Islander servant institution, guys, because that means that this school has a majority demographic of those type of students, which means like a lot of their culture, curriculum is tailored around them. I appreciate that, G. You know, that's pretty good. I'll be trying to pronounce it sometimes without the pronunciation to it, because one day, what if the internet don't work and I can't look up words, you know? What I'm gonna do? So, as we start with Augsburg University, they have a 62% graduation rate. That's over the 4-year midpoint, but to me, on the 100% scale, that's an F. It's not that good. It's all right. It's failing. Training the skill. Gotta train the skill. It says the average annual cost to go here is $24,000. Augsburg has on their website that sticker price ain't right on Augsburg, Augsburg University. Their semester, they're charging $23,000 per semester on tuition alone, and with an overload fee. Oh, that's only if you take it more than a certain amount of credit hours. But they're charging you $23,000. Remember the private. So if you go here for a full year, you're looking at $46,000. If you go here, you're looking at $46,000 per year in tuition alone. So let alone I'm not going to add the meal plans and housing, because I think you already know what we finna do. 46,000 times 4. Guys, that's $884,000. And then they said that if you go here, you're going to get an average income of in the 10 years, based on what they said, based on the 10 years being removed as a financial aid student. Hopefully I'm back. Based on the 10 years of being a financial aid student, like being away from financial aid or being away from the college for 10 years, you're expecting to make about $59,000, either over that or under that. But that's the midpoint, $59,000. But you're gonna pay easily on tuition $184,000. Now, I can't guarantee if that is good. That's not good. I know it's not. That's not good. It's not good by a long shot. But it's a private school. Like G mentioned, they got two Nobel Peace Prize winners. One from 20 years ago, and another one, Peter. I ain't know how to pronounce Peter's last name like that, but Peter, he won one. So I don't think that justifies charging that much, but let's keep going. Graduation and retention rate. They have a 70% return after their first return. Not money. 70% of their students return after their first year. That is not that good. That's more on the C range. So I got an ILF and a C right now. Graduation rate is an ILF. Retainability is a C after the first year. You always want to keep students after the first year. First impression is everything, right? They said if you go here, you're going to have an average debt of $25,000. That's going to be your average debt. That's gonna be your average debt, 25,000. I'm gonna say 26,000, rounded, and then students. 76% of students receive federal loans. That is a lot. 76% of their students receive federal student loans, but we know why. Because you're going to pay what I said, 48. You're paying 46 grand a year, so of course they 76% of them are receiving federal student loans. It's not good though. They put more of their kids in debt. Hopefully they making the returns to pay it back. And so as we keep going, they have a 74% chance of making more than a high school graduate. I don't know. I don't think that's enough for me. Y'all let me know if that's enough for you. I don't like that probability personally. And then right here, test scores, they have a 77% acceptance rate, which means they let a lot of people in, considering that they are a private school. And then they do not require the SAT, ACT. Why do they not require the SAT, ACT? Because they need students as well. Colleges need students. They need people to go to college. They charging too much is what it is. What it sounds like to me. Hey, G, you being here listening to me. If you know, you know. Cause $148,000 alone on tuition. You already know I'm gonna rate them. Personally, I never heard of Augsburg. That's all right, Augsburg. I never heard of Augsburg University. As I like to give the perspective on my perspective, my experience. Would I transfer to this school? No, because in my 2 years of going to this school, divided by 2, if I divide that 184,000 by 2. I'm already gonna pay 92 grand once I transfer to the school. So I wouldn't transfer here. I wouldn't go here at all. So I'm gonna get them a ILF. Cause I only heard the people that G did mention in the chat. He looked them up for me, I think, or he knew. But when I looked them up, I didn't know none of the Nobel alumni. They got Nobel Peace Prizes, but it doesn't seem like nobody's like going there that's fresh and new. That's like, they got that person. Like, so they're gonna be an ILF in my eyes. If they want to redeem themselves, with the church. Yes, they are. They do. They are with a church, and they probably have a special mission. They can stay open long. They probably don't rely on federal money as heavily, but they have to rely on some federal, because they're on the U.S. Department of Education College Scorecard. So they rely, I'm assuming, but I don't know much about the school. Never heard them in any crazy news. They could be doing pretty good. I don't know what their enrollment numbers look like. But eventually, we get to that point, we'll go interview and ask the students themselves, get a better perspective about it. But right now they're ILF, at 148,000. Was it 148? 184,000 in tuition alone to only make about 50,000 a year is crazy. That's crazy, y'all. I can't. That's an if. So we had a good live stream. I appreciate you all, and like I said, like G asked, like the records, we got over, like, now that I'm thinking about it, we got like over 50 videos for sure on ice, over 50. And that playlist is coming where we do the reviews of all the colleges. Those videos, I think you'll like the short form videos a lot more if you go watch the old videos. I have music in the background. It's like straight to the point. It's like really straight to the point. I get to cut it and edit it. You don't have to worry about all the buffer when I'm looking through things on live streams when it take a little longer. So I hope y'all enjoy that playlist. That playlist is going to be very dope. It's me breaking down the colleges like this with the calculator. Eventually, as we keep growing, though, that's where it's gonna get better. Cause then you can see me actually going through the websites of the schools and looking at the prices on the website and like how I do it. The simple like going on Google is very simple method. So I can't wait for that. Like it's just a lot of room to grow. We just gotta keep staying consistent and keep getting people like G in here. Spread the word, G. Spread the word. Word of mouth is better than social media posting. So spread the word verbally, if you can, and just tell people who you know. I'm just watching this guy. If you know G work at home, he a business owner. So if somebody come into his office establishment, he said word of mouth might help. You know, G might have me on this. Might be like, who that is you watch all this? Just this guy on YouTube. Like, hey, yeah. Oh, okay. And then, but we'll be on tomorrow. Good Friday. It's Friday Eve. Enjoy the rest of your night. It's a nighttime, depending on what time zone you're on. And we will be on tomorrow. Peace and chicken grease, just like G said.